Welcome to the Global WarWatch Network, your home for clear, no-nonsense analysis on the world's most advanced military tech. And hey, if you enjoy what we do here, do us a quick favor and hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss what we have lined up.
You're looking at three of the most advanced stealth fighters on the entire planet: America's F-22 Raptor, China's J-20 Mighty Dragon, and Russia's Su-57 Felon. They are all incredibly fast, incredibly stealthy, and unbelievably lethal. But here's the thing, they are absolutely not created equal. Today, we're going to break down how they really stack up against each other.
So to really figure out who owns the skies, we're going to compare these amazing machines across 4 key areas. We'll kick things off with why they were built in the first place, their core philosophies. Then we'll get into their stealth, their raw power, and of course their weapons, before we put it all together for the final verdict. Right. You really can't understand these jets without first understanding the why behind them. None of these aircraft were just cooked up in a lab without a reason. Each one is a direct reflection of its country's military strategy. Their very designs tell a story about what they're intended to do.
Okay, so let's start with the F-22 Raptor. It entered service way back in 2005, but its DNA is pure Cold War. Its job was simple: get in, smash the best Soviet air defenses, and achieve total air dominance. It's a purebred air-to-air killer, through and through. The J-20, though, that's a totally different animal. It's really the heart of China's whole keep-away strategy. It's not so much a dogfighter as it is a long-range sniper. Its mission is to pick off vulnerable American support planes. We're talking tankers and AWACS. Then you have the Su-57 Felon. This is Russia's answer to American stealth, designed specifically to hunt the F-22 and F-35 by blending that classic Russian agility with some serious strike power.
All right, now for what is arguably the single most important factor in any modern air battle: stealth. You know, when these jets go head-to-head, the fight is usually won by whoever sees the other guy first. It's all about mastering the art of invisibility.
And the way we measure that invisibility is with a term called radar cross-section, or RCS for short. So what is it? Put simply, it's how big an airplane looks on an enemy radar screen. A smaller number means you're harder to spot, harder to track, and a whole lot harder to shoot down. Simple as that.
And when it comes to the F-22, that number is just insane. Its estimated RCS is just 0.0001 square meters. I mean, that's famously been compared to the size of a single steel marble. From the front, it's basically a ghost on radar.
Now let's put that in perspective with the J-20. From the front, its RCS is estimated at around 0.01 square meters. Now don't get me wrong, that is incredibly stealthy compared to older jets, but it's still potentially 100 times bigger than the F-22. That tells you its stealth is really focused on those head-on engagements.
And that gap gets even wider when we look at the Su-57. Its RCS is estimated to be around half a square meter. Look, it definitely has stealthy characteristics, but it's just not in the same league as the F-22. It really shows that Russia was balancing pure stealth against other things in their design.
So, why do these numbers matter so much? I mean, what does it mean in a real dogfight? Well, it boils down to the difference between all-aspect stealth and frontal stealth. The F-22 has all-aspect stealth. It has these S-shaped ducts that hide the glowing engine fans, and every single edge is angled just right to deflect radar. That means a pilot can turn and bank and pull aggressive moves without suddenly lighting up an enemy's scope. The J-20 and Su-57, on the other hand, have features like canards, those little wings up front. They're fantastic for maneuverability, but they also create radar hotspots. So the moment they turn, they become a much, much bigger target.
Okay, so let's talk about the engines. What's under the hood of these apex predators? Because, stealth might get you into the fight without being seen, but it's the engine performance and pure agility that's going to keep you alive. And this is where things get really, really interesting. One of the huge benchmarks for a true 5th-gen fighter is something called Supercruise. Basically, it's the ability to fly faster than the speed of sound without kicking in those fuel-guzzling afterburners. Why does that matter? Well, it saves a ton of fuel, it makes the jet harder to spot with infrared sensors, and it lets the pilot completely control the timing and range of a fight.
And this is where the J-20's story is just incredible. For years, everybody knew its Achilles heel was its engines. It started out using Russian engines that just couldn't supercruise. Then they switched to a homegrown but temporary engine that had only limited supercruise. But that has all changed. With the brand new WS-15 engine coming online, that entire weakness has pretty much been wiped out. The J-20 can now reportedly supercruise at speeds up to Mach 1.8, putting it right there with the F-22.
And if you just look at raw power, man, that new WS-15 is an absolute monster. With its afterburner lit, it's kicking out around 40,000 pounds of thrust. That's theoretically more powerful than the F-22's legendary F-119 engine. And Russia's new engine for the Su-57 is a beast, too. It just goes to show you, the US definitely doesn't have a monopoly on top-tier jet engine tech anymore.
But it's not just about raw power, right? It's how you use it. And that's where thrust vectoring comes in. The F-22's nozzles move up and down, what we call 2D, letting it do things that just look like they defy physics. The Su-57, though, it takes it to another level with 3D nozzles that can point in pretty much any direction. That makes it arguably the most agile fighter jet ever built. And while the J-20 doesn't have it yet, everyone expects it's coming with those new WS-15 engines.
Okay, so you're stealthy, you're powerful, you're agile. The next big question is, what can you shoot? Yeah, exactly. In modern air combat, victory often goes to whoever has the longest reach. The pilot who can take their shot before the enemy can even shoot back.
So when we're talking about a fight that happens beyond visual range, the game changer is almost always who has the better long-range missile. So, who's got the edge here?
Well, this has been a serious back-and-forth race. For a while, China's PL-15 missile, with its crazy 200-kilometer-plus range, had the American AMRAAM totally beat. It was a huge problem. So the U.S. developed the brand-new AIM-260 specifically to beat the PL-15. Meanwhile, Russia's R-37M and China's new PL-17 are just gigantic missiles designed to hit targets from hundreds of kilometers away. We're talking 300, maybe even 400 kilometers.
But it's not just about the range of one missile. It's about how many you can carry inside the jet while staying stealthy. And in terms of pure numbers, the F-22 has the edge, carrying 8 missiles. But, and this is a really important but, the J-20 and especially the Su-57 have much bigger internal weapon space. That means they can carry those bigger, super long-range missiles, and in the Su-57's case, maybe even future hypersonic weapons that just physically will not fit inside an F-22.
All right, we've gone through the philosophies, the stealth, the power, and the weapons. It's time to put it all together and finally answer that big question. Who is the true king of the skies?
This chart does a great job of summing it all up. The F-22 is still, without a doubt, the king of stealth. It's also a mature, combat-tested platform. But look at performance and armament. The J-20 and Su-57 have caught up, or in some cases maybe even surpassed it, especially with their brand-new engines and long-range missiles. The J-20 in particular has just developed at a shocking pace, closing gaps that we once thought were huge.
But at the end of the day, it really comes back to the F-22's original motto, first look, first shot, first kill. Exactly. Even with its rivals closing the gap on engine power and missile range, the Raptor's defining advantage, its superpower really, is its superior all-aspect stealth. In a real fight, being able to see your opponent when they can't see you, that's the ultimate trump card. It lets the F-22 pilot control the entire fight from start to finish.
And that brings us to our final verdict. Based on everything we can see, the F-22 Raptor is still the apex predator. Its proven, all-aspect stealth gives it a combat advantage that just hasn't been matched yet. But, and this is probably the most important takeaway here, that dominance isn't guaranteed forever. The incredible progress on China's J-20, especially its engine and missiles, shows that the tech gap is closing way, way faster than anyone thought possible.
So that leaves us with one last question to think about. As things like speed and stealth start to level out across the board, what's going to define who rules the skies next? Will it be AI, integrating with drones, something we haven't even thought of yet? We genuinely love to know what you think, so leave your ideas in the comments. And hey, thank you so much for watching. If you found this useful, please hit that like button, share it with a friend, and subscribe to the Global WarWatch Network. And don't forget to join us on social media. All the links are right there in the description. We'll see you for the next